Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're exploring the world of Assaf Avidan,
Yeah.
a musician you might know from that one viral remix.
Oh, absolutely.
His career is so much more than just a single song.
Way more.
We've got a bunch of interviews with him from different years,
Oh, cool.
so we can really see how his thoughts and outlooks have evolved over time.
Yeah, a really nice longitudinal perspective.
We'll be exploring all that.
Yeah.
And plus, we've also got this fan video about his work as a voice actor,
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about him.
which I am dying to get to. So, much to unpack here.
Yeah, let's dive in.
I think it makes sense to start with the song that really brought Assaf Avidan to a lot of people's attention.
Yeah.
The One Day remix.
Right. That's probably how a lot of people first encountered his music.
Yeah, catchy, right?
Yeah, super catchy.
Did you know that Assaf himself actually has some
Yeah.
complicated feelings about the song's success?
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a source of contention for him.
Yeah. In one interview, he even says that if he could go back in time, he would erase the remix from history,
Wow.
even though it brought him fame and fortune.
You don't hear that every day.
So, I mean,
Ah,
that's a strong statement, right?
yeah.
Makes you wonder what he really values in art.
Yeah, it really makes you think about his priorities. I mean, in a lot of interviews, he talks about how he's frustrated that the remix reduced his song to this kind of simplistic dance track. Like it stripped away all the original melancholic intent he poured into it.
It's so interesting
Yeah.
because it really challenges that whole idea that an artist should just be grateful for exposure no matter what, right?
Right, exactly.
Makes you realize there's a much deeper artistic philosophy at play here.
Totally. This conflict really gets at something that's a recurring theme in Avedon's interviews. Like this importance of emotional honesty and depth in his work. It's so clear that he values authenticity over commercial success.
Yeah.
Like he really wants to connect on a deeper level.
Okay. So this isn't some guy who's just interested in churning out superficial hits, right?
No, not at all.
So to understand where that comes from,
Yeah.
let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. What can you tell us about his early life?
Well, Avedon describes himself as a kid as being fascinated by science and art.
Okay.
He even jokes that he could have been a zoologist or archaeologist if his mom hadn't sent him to art school.
Uh-huh. Sounds like art was a detour, not the destination.
Right, but I guess it all worked out in the end.
It seems that way.
He also mentions buying Metallica's Black Album as his first CD,
Oh, interesting.
which is kind of surprising considering his sound later on.
Yeah.
And then there's this amazing story he tells about hearing Nirvana for the first time.
Mhm.
And he describes like the cassette hiss
Oh,
before the music starts.
yeah, it takes you back.
And like how that just added to the whole experience. You could just feel the impact it had on him.
Wow. Yeah, there's something about that. It's almost like visceral,
Yeah.
that image. And it seems like his early musical taste. I mean, you mentioned Metallica, but then he was also into artists like Maisie Starr, Heather Nova, The Doors. They all lean towards that emotional intensity.
It's true. Even in his early preferences, you can
Yeah.
see this tendency towards like the melancholy and the poetic
Right.
and emotionally charged music. It's almost like he was drawn to music that explored the complexities of like human experience,
Right, yeah.
which totally foreshadows his later work.
It all connects, right.
Totally.
So these early influences kind of laid the groundwork for the depth and vulnerability that we hear in his music today.
For sure.
Speaking of vulnerability, there's that breakup album he mentions, Gold Shadow. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. He describes that as a really raw and honest chronicle of this painful breakup. He basically goes track by track through the whole thing. It's almost like a diary,
Wow.
charting, like this emotional roller coaster of the relationship falling apart.
It's an experience.
Yeah, and he even says that he intentionally chose an eclectic musical style
Really?
to mirror the shifting moods and kind of chaotic energy of the whole experience.
Yeah. That's so powerful. It's
Yeah.
not just an album about heartbreak. It's like a sonic representation of, the whole journey through heartbreak.
It is.
And you don't see that level of intentionality that often.
No, not at all.
It really speaks to his desire to go beyond just surface level emotions
Mm-hmm.
and to delve into the nuances of human experience. I think in one interview, he even calls his music voyeuristic,
Yes,
which is such an interesting choice of words.
it is.
It suggests a real desire to expose those unfiltered emotions, even if they're uncomfortable or messy.
Absolutely.
And brings us back to his criticism of those music competition shows,
Right.
because he sees them as promoting a manufactured version of art,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like something that's, I don't know,
Yeah.
sanitized and packaged for mass consumption.
Totally.
And he's really advocating for something rawer, something truer,
Yeah,
even if it's not always easy to listen to.
totally agree.
And it's amazing to think about You mentioned earlier his past work as a voice actor
Mm.
and bringing those same qualities to these animated characters.
It's such a cool side of his career.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen there
Oh, another time.
for another time.
Yeah.
It seems like there's always more to discover with Assaf Avidan.
Absolutely. He's a reminder that even with artists that we think we know,
Yeah,
there are always these hidden depths
yeah.
and unexpected talents just waiting to be explored.
I love that. And it makes me think about his complicated relationship with that One Day remix. Maybe part of it is that people just assume they know him based on a single song.
Right. They get this one-dimensional view of him.
Yeah, and he's anything but.
Yeah. He defies easy categorization.
Totally. So as we move forward in this deep dive,
Yeah.
let's try to keep that in mind. We're not looking for a simple answer or a singular definition of who Assaf Avidan is,
No.
but we're exploring this multifaceted journey of an artist who's constantly in motion,
Definitely.
pushing boundaries, pushing himself.
It's always evolved.
Yeah. So are you ready to keep going?
I'm ready. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think next we can delve into some of his specific albums
Oh, perfect.
and see how these themes
Yeah.
of honesty and vulnerability
Yeah.
and creative exploration really manifest in his music.
Let's do it. Let's start with Different Pulses.
Okay.
This is an album where we see him experimenting with more of an electronic sound.
Right.
It's almost like he's taking those influences from 90s hip-hop
Yeah.
and artists like Radiohead
Yeah.
and kind of weaving them into his own musical tapestry.
Right. And that's the one with Reckoning song on it, right?
It is.
That song gets me every time.
It's a powerful one.
It's like there's this raw energy in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like he's wrestling with some heavy stuff.
He is. He talks about that album being a time of really intense introspection.
Really?
Like a real reckoning with his own, flaws and insecurities.
So it's amazing how he just uses those darker emotions as fuel for creativity.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. He doesn't shy away from the shadows.
Yeah.
He leans right into them.
He does. And musically, Different Pulses just feels like this departure from his earlier, more acoustic work.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if he's intentionally disrupting expectations.
He is.
Refusing to be put in a box.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be pigeonholed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that restlessness, that desire to evolve and
Yeah.
experiment. It's like a
Yeah.
defining characteristic for him.
It really is.
Remember how we talked about him stealing from other artists?
Right?
It's more than just borrowing sounds.
Yeah.
He's taking those influences
Yeah.
and turning them into something totally new and unique.
Totally. And it's not even just about the music itself.
Right.
He's pushing boundaries in how he presents himself,
Mm-hmm.
how he interacts with his audience.
Totally.
There's that vulnerability, that authenticity.
Yeah, he's bringing you into his world.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants you to see it all.
And it takes us back to his criticism of those music competitions, because he sees them as promoting this kind of manufactured
Yeah, very inauthentic.
version of art, right?
Yeah.
And he's advocating for something that's raw and real,
Absolutely.
even if it's difficult to listen to sometimes.
Yeah, he's not afraid to make you uncomfortable.
Exactly.
He wants to shake things up.
And that's what makes his music so compelling, right?
Totally.
He's not afraid to kind of confront the darkness, the pain,
Yeah, he embraces it.
the complexities of being human, right?
Yeah.
He's not giving us easy answers
Nope.
or those catchy hooks that you just
Oh.
can't get out of your head.
It's not about that for him.
But he's inviting us on a journey,
He is.
a deep dive into the depths of human experience.
I love that. A deep dive. And speaking of deep dives,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's amazing to think about his work as a voice actor, right?
Yeah.
Bringing those same qualities
Yeah.
to animated characters.
It's so cool.
It makes you wonder, what other hidden talents does he have?
Right.
He seems like someone who thrives on pushing himself outside his comfort zone.
Yeah.
Exploring these new mediums
Yeah.
and challenging himself to grow as an artist.
It's inspiring, really.
It is.
It reminds us that there's always more to learn and discover
Yeah,
within ourselves and in the world around us.
absolutely.
And one of the things I really appreciate about Assaf Avidan's work
Yeah.
is that sense that he's on this constant
Mm-hmm.
quest for knowledge and understanding, right?
He's always searching.
He's asking those difficult questions.
Yeah.
Grappling with those big existential themes,
Mm-hmm.
confronting the uncertainties of life.
Not afraid to go there.
And he's not afraid to be honest,
Right.
even when it hurts. Like in that interview where he talks about,
Yeah.
his relationship ending and
Right.
how he poured all that pain into Gold Shadow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Oh,
something
such brave.
incredibly brave about that, right?
Yeah. Especially as a public figure.
To be so vulnerable.
Totally.
It's a reminder that even those who seem to have it all figured out, they're still struggling
Yeah.
with the same human emotions that we all face.
We all have those doubts and insecurities.
Yeah.
It's part of being human.
And maybe that's what makes his music so powerful.
Yeah.
He's not preaching from some pedestal.
No.
He's down here with us in the trenches.
Right. Wrestling with life just like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. Wrestling with the messy, complicated realities of life.
Absolutely.
And in doing so, he creates art that connects with us.
He does.
Reminds us we're not alone in our struggles. And there's beauty to be found even in those broken places.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's important to remember that while we're focusing on Assaf Avidan's journey today, this is really about something bigger. It's about the power of art to connect us.
It brings us
to challenge us, to make us feel something real.
Absolutely.
It's about the courage to be vulnerable.
Yes.
To express ourselves authentically, even when it's scary or uncomfortable.
Even when it's misky.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about recognizing that even when we feel our most alone, there's this shared humanity that binds us all together.
We're all connected.
It's like that analogy he uses.
Yes.
About the sailor navigating the unpredictable waters of fate, right?
It's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
We're all on that journey.
Yeah.
Facing those storms, searching for meaning in all the chaos.
Exactly. And maybe that's why his music resonates so deeply.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're not alone.
We're not alone.
We're all in this together.
I love that. And it reminds me of his issue with how the music industry tries to sanitize and package art, you know?
Yeah.
He's pushing back against that.
Yeah.
Reminding us that true art is about something much deeper.
Yes.
It's not about commercial success.
Right.
Or pleasing the masses.
It's about honesty. It's about vulnerability.
Exactly.
It's about connecting with something deeper.
Yeah, something that speaks to your soul.
Yeah. And that brings us to a question for you, the listener.
Okay.
What resonates most with you about Assaf Avidan's journey?
Think about it.
What themes or ideas really stick with you?
Yeah, what speaks to you?
Is it his commitment to honesty? His willingness to explore those difficult emotions?
Yeah.
His constant evolution as an artist?
Take some time to reflect on that.
Yeah, let those thoughts simmer.
And when you're ready, we'll delve into some of his later work and see how his journey continues to unfold.
You know, it's funny how our perception of an artist can shift as we dig deeper.
Right.
I came into this thinking of Assaf Avidan as this brooding kind of solitary figure.
Yeah, I get that.
Lost in his own world of, like, melancholic melodies.
Yeah, the lone wolf artist.
Yeah.
Creating from his pain.
But throughout this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's really struck me
Yeah.
is how much he emphasizes connection.
Oh, interesting.
Collaboration, shared experience. He talks about his band, the Mojos,
Right.
and how they push each other creatively.
Makes sense.
He even mentions, like, experimenting with polyamory,
Wow, really?
seeking these new ways to connect with people
Huh.
on an intimate level.
So it's like...
It's almost like he's challenging these traditional notions of relationships,
Right.
both artistic and personal.
Totally. Like he's pushing those boundaries.
Yeah, and it seems like he thrives in those spaces where those boundaries get blurred
Right.
and individual voices kind of merge to create something new.
It's like a fusion of energies.
Yeah, exactly. And even when those connections fall apart,
Which happens, right?
which inevitably happens,
That's why.
he takes that pain and turns it into art.
Of course.
He finds a way to connect through that vulnerability.
Right.
Like Gold Shadow, right?
Yeah.
That chronicle of heartbreak.
It's raw.
He's taking something so personal
Yeah.
and somehow making it universal.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even in our most isolated moments, we're not really alone.
Yeah.
Those experiences, those emotions, they can bridge those gaps, create a sense of shared humanity.
And that's what makes art so powerful.
Right.
It gives us a language to express
Yes.
those things that are so hard to put into words.
Those raw, messy emotions
Yeah,
we try to hide.
exactly.
He puts it out there.
And in Avidan's case,
Yeah.
it's clear that his music is not just a reflection of his own journey.
Right.
It's an invitation
It is. Come along with me.
To join him, yeah.
Explore the heart and mind.
To explore those uncharted territories,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And he's not afraid to challenge us along the way.
No, he's going to push you.
Make us confront some uncomfortable truths.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to spoon feed us,
No.
those easy answers, those predictable melodies.
He wants you to think.
Yeah, he wants to make us think, make us feel.
Right.
He's willing to risk alienating fans
Yeah.
by not playing into expectations.
It's brave.
Whether it's rejecting that remix
Right.
or criticizing the music industry,
He's not afraid to speak his mind.
that's a true artist.
Right. He is.
Not driven by validation.
No.
He's following his own internal compass.
His own path.
Yeah, even if it's the road less traveled.
And that path is leading him towards self-discovery.
Yeah,
Embracing the unknown.
yeah, letting life unfold.
With all its messiness.
Yeah, and as listeners,
We're lucky.
we get to witness this evolution.
Mm-hmm.
These moments of vulnerability, these creative leaps of faith.
And maybe we
Dear.
can reflect on our own journeys.
Right.
Our own struggles.
Yeah.
And maybe find some answers.
As we wrap up this deep dive into Assaf Avidan,
Mm-hmm.
I'm left with a sense of awe
Yeah.
and inspiration.
Me too.
Here's this artist
Mm-hmm.
who's not afraid to be vulnerable,
Nope.
to push boundaries,
Push.
challenge conventions,
Yep, Asaf.
and he's reminding us that art's not about easy answers
No.
or instant gratification.
It's a process.
It's about the journey, the exploration, the pursuit of truth.
Within ourselves and in the world.
And it's about embracing it all.
Yes.
The light and the shadow, the joy and the sorrow, the beauty and the messiness.
That's life.
So next time you hear that One Day remix,
Mm-hmm.
remember the artist behind the song?
Yes.
Dive deeper into his work.
There's so much to discover.
You might be surprised.
And share your thoughts with us online.
Yeah, use the show hashtag.
We'd love to hear your insights.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep searching, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.